we are back. Welcome to the Clerc podcast show. Great to be back this week at the Bark Center. I feel like we don't talk about this building that much when we're here.
Yeah, we haven't a whole lot.
We haven't. Ever since we moved back. Well, I guess we haven't really moved back. People ask me where's like the central location of the podcast. We're kind of like going all over the place because we've done it in Cato. We've done it under a bridge. So we've really done it. You know, we've done it outside. We've done it a bunch of random locations.
This is kind of like the original location, although your first one was in your bedroom, I believe.
Yep. It was in Colin's bedroom at my house, and then we kind of moved upstairs in the Bark on the second floor. We had the studio on the third floor for the long time. That was where a lot of podcast episodes happened. Got pretty hot up there sometimes.
Now we just rotate the table and it looks like a different studio.
every time we move it, we're over here. Same books, but different location.
Thank you, Bark.
Yeah, so we are at the Bark Center in Weinandt, Minnesota. We got to give a shout out because they are letting us use this location, and a lot of great things have happened here. We filmed a lot of movies here, and it is a community center in Weinandt. They do a lot of stuff. Sherman, you do stuff here as well. And that's what we should get right into. The guest this week, Mr. Sherman. And I have to call him that because he was a teacher for me for a lot of substituting and other things too. So
or I'll throw you out of class retroactively
out of the library.
Yeah, Jayesun Sherman though. And before we get into anything, if you kind of want to talk about you and what you've been up to, because I know you're running for Congress now, and so we don't want to get too political with people, but you could kind of talk about what you're doing and to give people a background on you.
Sure. My wife and I have lived in Windham now for about 7 years, and about a year ago, I decided that I was going to try to run for U.S. Congress. So here I am. I'm in the beginning stages of my next campaign for 2020, November 3rd.
Uh-oh.
So I have a few hurdles to get past. I won't bore you with all the details, but I have to make it past the endorsement, make it past the primaries, and then make it past the generals. So
wow.
It's a long haul.
What made you intrigued to do that? I feel like it's a lot of work and obviously it's a lot of work. You got to raise money and everything.
Oh yeah, only 1.4 million or so.
Only 1.4 million. What would make you or make someone want to do that? I mean, is
insanity?
It just
I don't know. No, I
you want to make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, I felt strangely compelled. That's the best I can say. I felt like there was nothing else that would satisfy or fit the bill right now. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go for it.
Was there something that, was there one issue or something that made you like really trip that you're like, I need to do something about it? Or
no, there's a song by Switchfoot, Meant to Live.
Oh, there you go.
I was meant to live for so much more. That's one of my life principles. I'm not here just to fill up space, just to take up time, just to eat food, shove it down my cake hole, and go on my way, right?
Yeah.
I'm here to make a difference.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that, and I hope things work out for you. And we'll be hopefully able to get you on the podcast a couple more times before that all comes to be, and see what happens and keep people updated. So, while we keep going here, Damon Weinandt is back, the co-host, side host, the main man here of the podcast.
Thank you, Ethan. Great to be back. Excited for tonight.
Yep, and we've been on with Sherman before a couple times.
Yeah.
I think this is your
times,
third time on the podcast, Sherman, if I'm not correct.
I think so.
Is
Sounds
it fourth?
Right.
Maybe third or fourth? Because we talked about building the pyramids with you, and we talked about I don't remember the other topic.
And we had that secret guest that one time.
Yes, those were the two.
Yeah, those are the two. Yep, the guy wanted by the government. Yep, that was a good episode.
Good thing we didn't show his face.
Yeah. Or his body at all. Yeah. The whole body was blurred. Across the table from me, Adam Farag, the other co-host of the podcast.
I'm working towards that title.
He's working his way up here. Great to have you back, Adam. You always provide good insight, and I hope this week you can continue that streak.
I hope so too. You never know with me.
Because this week we are talking about the future, and I brought that idea up. I came up with this idea. Was the other day I was taking a shower, and I'm just like trying to come up with ideas, as many ideas come to you, in the shower. Many great ideas come.
That's true.
And so I was thinking about it, and I'm trying to come up with an idea for the podcast. I'm like, God, maybe we should just talk about our predictions for what's coming up, because
I wasn't ready for predictions.
If we can make predictions. We can talk about.
They'll come out.
Yeah. We can talk about ways we think things are going and other things like that. And I guess one of the main things that made me think about this was I read a news article the other day. It was about a Wisconsin company that embedded all their employees with microchips in their hand right here. It's right in between the thumb and the forefinger.
Is that mandatory?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I shouldn't say that because I'm pretty sure it was mandatory, but I'm not 100% sure. And so they all have these microchips, and they are apparently, this is what they say, they don't have trackers in them.
Oh, right.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
They just open the doors to the company.
Yeah. They open up their RFID RFID chips, I think is what they're called, and they
Okay.
open up things or you can pay with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that brought my big question. Do you think that that's the direction we're heading in the future, is everyone's going to be chipped? You won't need a phone. I mean, you'll need a phone, but you can pay with your hand. You can just open doors, your car, start your car with your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think things are going that direction? Or I don't know. To me, it seems like I'm kind of hesitant about it because the tracking part of it is scary.
Sounds kind of pretty controversial.
It does, yeah.
Yes, there are some privacy issues there. I
Oh
believe.
yeah, and moral issues as well.
Yes.
With I mean, there's the whole thing, and I think people right now are so skeptical about it. When you get movies like the Belko Experiment, Adam brought that up to me the other day. If you've ever seen it, the employees at this company have trackers in the back of their necks, and the company ends up blowing their heads up one by one. Not saying that's what anyone's going to do, but
do they have an option for pets? It's a great idea. Like
Yep.
if it was a pet, that's good. But is there an option you can do that with kids, like if they for abduction and things like that? Are they doing that?
I don't know if they are or
No.
not.
No,
Well,
like,
they are doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
I know it's all voluntary right now, and of course the big thing is safety, right? Number one priority.
You say that kind of hesitant. Sure.
Safety. Well, I've been around the world, and I know that not every country is as obsessed with safety as we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
I mean,
way over the
and you
top.
say people are doing it. Is it something that it's pretty expensive to do, or
No,
what?
no,
It isn't?
no, surprisingly not. Yeah.
Oh, I figured it'd be
It's quite
super
cheap.
expensive.
No, it's a couple $100.
Oh,
at
really?
Best. Oh, yeah.
And you could
Oh,
track
yeah.
your kids with it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh my
and
god.
they're, of course, doing it for medical reasons, right?
Yep.
So they can scan it, and they actually claim they saved some lady's life because she had one of these little chips. The family had it put in because she was at risk. They scanned it and saved her life. Found out she's diabetic or something like that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are they powered? How do you power something like that?
They have a low frequency thing that radiates from the pellet. I don't know what the actual, it's not gamma rays, it's not ultraviolet rays, it's some type of thing like that. It's not like a battery.
Like
you
a
have to
radio wave or
recharge.
something?
Yeah, something like that, more like a radio wave. I think it's detecting what's in there, and then it just reads it. I don't know how it reads it exactly.
Well, it's
That'd
crazy.
be
They
way
could
beyond my
fit,
pay grade.
fit something like they were showing a picture of it. It's like the size of a grain of rice, pretty
Yes.
much, and they could fit
Yes.
that in your hand, and they could fit all that computer technology in there or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
so there's positives, but I wouldn't myself put one on, and I don't think they should be mandatory.
Yeah.
I'd rather carry a wallet than pay for
Yeah,
stuff with
yeah.
my hand. Or
I could see things going that way though in the future. Like I feel like
in the future, you'll just be able to think about it. And you just pay. You don't,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't need anything in your hand.
Yeah.
your phone's
I
hooked up
really
to
want to
your
buy that. No, I
brain.
don't.
Yeah,
No, I
no,
don't.
no,
Never mind. Sorry, money's gone.
I don't know. There was a USA Today article about it, and the article title was "You will get chipped eventually." And there's a little whatever you call it.
Well, if you carry around a cell phone, you basically are, because you're being tracked all the time. If you go on
As long
Facebook,
as your phone's on.
they
yeah.
know everything about.
Well-
I say they, but the
Yeah. The
Yeah,
watchers.
you don't have to
they?
blur me out.
yeah. I mean,
We already give out so much information on ourselves and carry these things around, and these have smart things on them. You just go like that if you wanted to, and
Oh, yeah.
if you ever lose
Yeah.
your phone, you better have good passcodes on it.
have you ever
tap
heard
the thing.
of? They say that the microphone on your phone is always listening. So if you're talking about, people have done experiments on YouTube where they have their phone out and they don't look up the product online and they just
Yeah.
talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like yeah, I really want to get a new tent or whatever.
Yep.
And they just talk about it with their wife or whatever, and then a couple days later they start seeing tent
Yep,
advertisements.
do it now.
popping up.
Like just
Oh.
pull up Facebook, have it open, and talk about going shopping for T-shirts.
and T-shirt
Oh, yeah.
things are just out.
Yeah.
Isn't
Oh,
that
yeah.
crazy?
That's crazy, yeah.
How
Yeah.
can they? I can't even believe that that is legal to
Yeah.
listen.
You also have
and
to be careful, because wherever you Google on any computer with all that together,
Yes.
you could be on another computer and it'll pop up
Yes,
and
it
show
will.
up.
I've had
Isn't
that
it
happen.
cookies or whatever they call it?
That's something of
they're
it. yeah.
tracking your searches, what pages you're looking at,
Yeah.
everything like that.
I think cookies is a shortcut just so that not everything has to upload every time.
Yep, they
So,
can just
yeah.
get when you come back
So
on.
the
they know.
future is happening now. It'll get even more intense, but subliminally they're putting that into your mind to buy things,
Yeah.
advertise to you.
Right now? Are we getting eased into the giving up our security, giving up
Without
our
even knowing it,
personal-
most people.
Yeah, are we getting desensitized to the whole thing?
Absolutely.
You think that's what it's all?
Oh, yeah.
What's all going on?
Yeah, there are lots of words I could shout out right now, and you guys wouldn't be in shock and awe over the words I say, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Well, are
weapons of mass destruction. You're not like, oh my goodness.
yeah.
I mean, you've heard it so much.
Just they talk about it a lot. They repeat.
Yeah.
Subliminal messaging is big
Yeah.
for advertising and
Yeah.
media and anything like that.
It used to be legal to put a picture of someone smoking a cigar or drinking a drink. Every 1,000th frame, they would flash it up there without announcing it, and your eyes could pick it up, but you're not actually consciously remembering it.
Yep.
And then they had to do something about that, so they can't do
Really?
that anymore. Yes.
Where was that, in movies or TV?
Back in the 50s, 60s, early 70s.
Like those, let's all go out to the movies and get ourselves a snack.
Yes.
Before the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
They'd flash, go, stuff like that. Go get
Really?
snacks. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Dang, that's crazy. I didn't
Yeah.
know. And they limited that now. You can't do that
Yes.
anymore.
Well, I mean, they did, but who knows if they're still doing it, right?
Yep.
Probably Disney's doing it
Jeez.
with all the stuff they do.
And while we're talking about subliminal messaging and stuff like that, you can't show, cigarette companies can't show ads on TV anymore, right? They
Well,
can't do any kind of advertising.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's
I
the official rule.
cannot remember the last time I saw a cigarette, like an advertisement
think,
for
yeah.
cigarettes or anything
They'll
like
just
that.
play some of the TV shows. And
Yeah.
where you're watching.
Yeah, placement.
Product placement.
They
Yeah,
pay,
yeah.
to, pay to do that.
Honestly, though, I can't think of the last time I saw an advertisement for cigarettes
Yeah,
or
trying to
any
think
kind of
that too, yeah.
tobacco. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's a law.
That's even way down though, like smoking, like TV shows and stuff like that. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's definitely like way down from what it used to be. Not even that long ago.
Well, I think just in general, smoking is on a way downfall from what it used to be. Because back in the day, I mean, obviously I wasn't alive, but I know that it used to be like everyone did it. Like it was like a.
So in the future, maybe smoking will be banned.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I think as far as smoking goes, like smoking cigarettes, yeah, but like smoking
Juuls
yeah,
and stuff.
I feel like-
Vaping is the big thing now.
We can get off this topic because we talked about it last.
you're right.
But no. But I saw someone shared something after the podcast about how Juul, they're doing the studies, and it actually is worse than cigarettes, and it's a lot more nicotine, and it's giving you like popcorn lung.
Yeah,
and
but
stuff like that.
I've also seen videos where they put like a tube thing and they put a cigarette in there and they keep burning cigarettes and they pull the cotton balls out and they're like black.
Oh,
and,
talking about the tar and
yeah,
stuff.
and then they put a Juul or they put a vape and it goes through all these cotton balls and it ended up being like they were completely
That
fine.
it might be a smoke and mirrors type thing, but in the long run with the chemicals, because they put extra. I mean, cigarettes have really bad chemicals in them too, but they put like crazy chemicals in the Juuls, like
Yeah.
for the flavoring
Yep,
and stuff.
yep.
So.
15,000 flavorings I heard from a lady recently.
No
Wow.
kidding.
Yeah, a lady who knows what she's talking about, apparently.
And while we're talking about last week, what we were talking about, for people that don't know, we talked about smoking in Mankato, how they changed it to 21. And the reason I'm bringing it up because people got some responses from people that said that we were kind of talking about our opinions like they were facts or whatever.
Oh,
Which I would
I'm
not.
glad they held us in such high regard.
I think, and we want to make this very clear to everyone. If you're watching the podcast, when we talk about stuff, it is all of our opinions. We might bring up information, and if we're not going to be like this is 100%.
That's
how
a
it
good
is.
point. Like, what's the disclaimer? The doesn't reflect all the opinions
Yeah.
and such of everyone on the show. It doesn't necessarily reflect the Ethan Clare show.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all opinions.
It's all
They're just
opinion.
opinions.
We all have our own opinions here. That's what the point of the
Conversation
podcast
starter.
is, to just talk, and we're not on here telling you how to live your life or
Nope.
how to do anything.
Most definitely
We're
not.
just offering what we thought about the thing, and we didn't agree with it. I don't think anyone here agreed with it. But that doesn't mean we're telling the people that it was a bad decision or anything like that. We're just saying we didn't agree with it.
Nope.
So I don't know where that argument comes from or whatever, but just so everyone knows, what we talk about on here is only opinion. We might bring up information. If you disagree with it, we'd love to hear with you, but we don't want anyone thinking that we're talking like everything we're saying is a fact.
Right.
So that just to get that out of the way. What are your thoughts on that, Sherman? Because we never got your opinion. You weren't here.
Oh, which
Moving
thing?
the smoking age or the buying to 21, and I did figure out you do not get grandfathered in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you're allowed to smoke it under 21, but you just can't buy it.
Yep. So you can
Supposed to
literally
be
go
really tough to
outside, you go
regulate.
right in front of a cop, and you can smoke, but you just can't buy
It's
it.
supposed to be tough to regulate then.
Yep.
It
So
really
what do
would.
you think about the changing the smoking, buying tobacco age in Mankato to 21?
Yes, I think it's a little bit hypocritical because we can have people enlist in the Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever, go out and grab an AK-47,
Yep.
risk their life and die quickly
Yep.
versus die slowly from nicotine or
Yep.
the other chemicals. Yeah, I think that it's an unwise thing and it's going to end up biting them at some point.
Yep.
There is no direct moral argument against it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides the fact that you shouldn't hurt your body.
Yeah, it's unhealthy.
But-
and I don't think anyone here was disagreeing with the fact that it's
Yeah.
unhealthy.
No.
Yeah.
I think we're just saying you can have that choice to make your own decision.
Yeah, and it doesn't affect everybody the same way. George Burns smoked for many, many years, up to almost 100.
Yep.
And he
Richards.
apparently seemed okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy guys that smoke unreal amounts.
I
And
know. My grandparents didn't do so well on that one.
John Daly smoked like I think it was like 10 packs a day or 15 packs a day.
And he's still out there golfing on
He's still out
tour.
there golfing. Yeah, he have you? There's a
He's
video.
smoking good, huh?
There's an interview.
He was
on,
addicted to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a Grant Bellinger interview where he interviewed John Daly, and John Daly was an animal. This guy could drink, and well, what he claimed, he could drink and smoke like no one else. He was drinking an unbelievable amount, like a case every day, or I mean multiple cases a day, not just one. But and then smoking and eating, he'd have like a case of Twinkies every day. Like it was just unbelievable.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, Warren Buffett, one of the richest guys in the world, drinks 5 Coca-Colas per day.
Every day he gets McDonald's for
Every day.
breakfast.
Yep.
Really?
Doesn't spend over $3.15 though.
No, depending on the market, he'll get
Yeah.
a sausage egg McMuffin or
Yeah,
a sausage
yeah.
McMuffin. Every day he goes to McDonald's though.
Yeah.
That's
Every day.
insane.
Yeah, I was watching a video on that too. People wouldn't think that one of the richest men in the world would eat at McDonald's every day for breakfast.
Yeah, or 5 Cokes a day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like how many like rappers and stuff have like jewelry and everything, and then like look at like every like billionaire in the world, they have a regular belt and
Yep.
you know like a $10 watch from Walmart and that's,
Priorities.
Yep.
and that's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know, yeah, and they keep it to themselves.
And we kind of get back onto the topic because we kind of got a little out of a little void, but that's okay. That's what the podcast is all about. We can really go anywhere with it. But like I was talking about this USA Today article, this guy in the article that interviewed, he said by 2067 we will be desensitized to implanting these not trackers, the what do you call them? The chipped microchips. We will be desensitized to it, and people will be more open to that idea of doing it.
I think they'll probably be more open to it, like because I think over like that period of time it'd be probably easy enough to desensitize people that much.
Yeah.
But like I think you'll always have like your like resistance against something like that, like half it because people just want to be against it for the sake of being against it, but for the other part there's still gonna be the people who still like realize that really is a pretty big invasion of privacy.
And also of a problem with control, because if there's a way to access them via a computer or some technological device,
Exactly.
right? If a evil person came to power,
Yep.
they could definitely manipulate that bad boy.
Well, that's what could they hack them and
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a big fear for the future is hacking and cyber crimes. And,
Oh, yeah.
And what did you say, 2067?
Yeah,
I
2067.
almost feel like there's some technology we don't even know about yet that's beyond a chip in your hand. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I was kind of joking with the mind thing, but I mean, they're going to come to a point where they're working on artificial intelligence right now to read your mind and like do that stuff. So
Really?
Oh yeah. So like by your waves that you do, they can tell what you're thinking, and by that time, I mean, maybe they'll even have it pinpointed down to like what we said, like this is not where you're tracking and where you're at so much. But.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they already keep track, like you said, on your phone of everywhere you go, and they can keep track of everything you buy. All these companies are keeping these profiles of everyone. I know it's a big thing Amazon does. They keep track of everything you buy, everything you search, everything you type in, look at, click on, how much money you're spending, and they're making a huge profile. And they're keeping track of all these things so that they can start recommending products for you.
Absolutely.
And they sell advertising to other companies, and those companies are going to buy into people that are looking for those products.
Oh, algorithms, yeah.
Yeah.
If the shift's going to come towards the chips that we're talking about,
Yeah.
it's going to really have to outweigh that positivity to get everyone on board to do it. But Jason brought up a good point on the
Oh, for
computer
sure.
hacking and tracking and how you could use it for not good.
Well, it's part of chaos theory. I mean, the chaos theory basically goes, the more interconnected everything is, the smaller object or event it takes to knock it down.
Yep.
So I meant to think about the viruses that have gone around. One guy from the Philippines came up with a virus some time ago named Lovebug or something like that, and he took down some major corporations.
Really?
And he's just some lone guy just working out of
Some
his
random
house.
guy.
They're holding cities in hostage now where they can hack the system with malware.
Yeah.
And you have to pay Bitcoin to get out. Or
Yep.
like, I think Baltimore. It was Baltimore.
Okay.
Really?
And you can't, right now they can't sell or buy houses because someone hacked into their system. and they can't get any of the records. It's all in paper file. People are waiting hours and hours just to try to sell their house.
Yep.
That's scary stuff.
Yep.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
they could attack any small city,
Yep.
you know, and shut down the system if your stuff's out of date. And
it's weird you brought that up because I was just down in Iowa doing some video work. We were in this very small town, like 70 people, and their city government got hacked by a random hacker from another country, held the city at hostage or whatever. They had to pay a bunch of money to get all their computer records back.
and a lot of cities don't want to pay the money because if you pay the money, you're on the list. You'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll hack you again if you
Yeah,
don't pay it.
exactly. And these small towns don't have any form of security to keep people from doing it again, or you know,
scary stuff.
it's scary stuff. And I don't know how there really is a way to stop it because all these computer networks are so open up, and especially these small towns, they don't have any way of keeping track of how many people have that record or whatever. You're literally out there to the world.
Yeah.
And it's not like the government can help every little small town.
Well, and these hackers, like that anonymous group, I mean,
yeah.
they can throw you in so many different directions, like to throw you off the trail, that it's pretty tough to like pinpoint who's doing it. Or you don't even have to be in the continental United States. You're across the world and you're doing it, and you have a lot of free time and you're sitting there learning the computer and the new technology. And so the technology to fight that has to catch up to the technology that's stealing people's identities.
Well, and they're not just hacking small little things. Those big hackers hacked Target and took all those credit card numbers.
Right. Yep.
Remember that? That happened not too long ago. And then there was another one. I can't remember what other business it was, but they hacked a pretty big company, and they had a lot of people's credit card information. People were boycotting and stuff, wondering they are all getting new credit cards and stuff. Makes you wonder, could the government ever get, like the U.S. government ever get like hacked, and a lot of information would get out there.
Far be it from them to spy on anyone. Right? We all know that. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, and while we're talking about electronics and stuff like that, I was looking at something where they made an artificial heart. So when people die, they can put this heart inside of them. I don't know if they've tested it yet where it can successfully be put into someone so they could live a lot longer.
That's technology. Yeah. That's better than a baboon heart, I guess.
Yeah.
I put in.
It's crazy. I mean, to think that you could live past your actual, like, it's like putting a new engine in a car almost. Like, you could put an artificial heart in you. Can you actually live another 100 years, or could people start living to be 200-300 years old?
I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think that technology and like science and all the advancements have come. I mean, maybe not quite that far yet, but I mean, really close to seeing it in like the relative future.
Like RoboCop.
Yeah, pretty much. At that point, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. But, at that point, I feel like that really ties into the whole desensitizing thing, because like if you're okay getting a whole new heart, like you would have no problem getting something you put in your hand.
Oh yeah,
you know?
for sure, yeah.
It's true.
And you think of like cryogenics, like bringing people back, like Walt Disney. Like he's cryogenically frozen right now. And I don't know. I think he's down in Florida somewhere. I think he's
Disney World.
I think he's in a cryogenic.
Probably is in one of the rides underneath.
Freezer.
Absolutely.
And for people that don't know, cryogenic is when you freeze somebody after they die in the hopes that sometime in the future they'd have technology that they're working on right now where you could bring them back to life. I don't know how that works. You know anything about that, Sherman?
Well, I mean, there is an element of where does the spiritual kind of tie in, right?
Yeah.
Because if we are just biology, then it is quite feasible that you could just resuscitate the body. If we're more than just biology, if there is indeed what most of the world believes, that we have an actual spirit that goes somewhere, that would totally throw off the whole game, wouldn't it?
What do you think would happen then if you brought somebody back? They'd have no personality or anything?
I think you could, in theory, maybe get the body to have some type of involuntary muscle movement, like heart beating and stuff like that. But I don't think you would ever get them to be what we would call conscious.
Really?
Or aware and be able to function, because they're missing that element. Someone did an experiment. They did a film of the moment of conception, and they are saying scientifically that there is a small spark when you actually are conceived. And when you die, someone different did a testing of the measurement of mass, and they claimed that there was a slight loss of weight when upon death.
Really?
When the spirit would leave the body, supposedly. That's what they said.
Is there somewhere we can look this up or whatever? That's
there
actually
is.
really interesting to me.
Absolutely.
You know what the name of that is? 'Cause
If you YouTube it, which is what everyone's doing, right?
Yeah.
You can do the spark at conception, but then you'd have to, what would you look at? I guess dying, spirit, lighter, not so heavy.
Dying.
Something like that.
Dying
I've seen
body
the
is-
stuff on a site, and it was more of a doctoral type site. It wasn't one of these
Yeah.
fringe sites.
Yep.
Because that stuff I don't take as seriously.
Yeah. Well, and you makes you wonder, like, let's say Walt Disney did come back.
Yeah.
Would he be the same guy he was when he died?
If his spirit was,
If, let's say, the spirit was
Yeah,
in him,
yeah.
if he'd just be...
I guess in my worldview, I guess God can do that if he wants. There is a story actually in the Bible, oddly enough, of a guy who died, and then he was buried for a long time. Another guy died, and they took him and they put his body near the other guy, and the second guy rose up from the
We'd have
dead.
to have some biblical
Really?
miracles going on.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know.
I saw an Antique Roadshow where Walt Disney's signature was worth $1,500. If
Really?
he came back, it'd probably drop in price, right?
Yeah, presumably.
Be a little bit cheaper. Yeah.
I heard about this other guy who was dead for 3 days. You probably heard about him.
Oh, jeez.
Rose from the dead. There we go.
Encino Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Longer than 3 days, I think.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Well, and to kind of talk about while we're talking about bringing people back or whatever, there has been people that have been dead for quite a long
Yep.
time and came back.
Yep.
We're not-
Hours.
Captain America.
Kept him for 70 years.
Yeah. But people that have gone, that have actually, like, there's no heartbeat for a long time. I don't know how it's possible. And then to bring them back, I'd have no idea how. Don't you have brain damage from?
You could, but it's not a given.
Yeah.
It all depends
miracle.
on the temperature, depends on the environment. Are you in water, out of water? Is it hot? Doctor's good, bad?
Yeah,
all
there's
those
a lot of
things
variables.
make a
in it.
difference. What chemicals are in your body?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard of 2 hours, 4 hours.
4 hours?
4 hours, yeah.
Holy cow.
One-
It's not a coma, it's completely gone.
Yeah, gone. One guy I know of, my friend actually knows him. He froze solid in Russia, and they dragged him inside, and
Really?
they got him back later, a couple hours later.
Was it only because he was frozen?
Well, he was also drunk. So
Probably how he ended up frozen.
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so,
That's
yeah.
crazy. Well, do you ever think we could get to the point where you could take, I don't know why you do this, but like a brain transplant?
Mm-hmm.
You could do that?
Well, you can't yet, but it's so incredibly complex. But eventually they will be able to do that, and that's a big moral question.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
But if
Does
the outside
everyone's
casing is
thoughts and
different,
everything
yeah.
come?
Yeah.
Who would you be?
Yeah, you're still
know?
guilty of the crime you didn't do before,
Yeah.
but you remember it.
Well,
Yeah.
if they perfect the artificial intelligence with the little microchips that, like a computer that don't even need moving parts anymore, I mean, where does that go? I mean, if you put that into somebody, like, they could actually carry things out. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to make a prediction. You said predictions.
Predictions,
Is that
Dave,
20,
predictions.
Is that
Nanotechnology.
2068?
Yeah, 1 year
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the implants in your hand. Yeah, I don't know, but it makes you wonder, if you did do that, would that person have all the same personality and thoughts and like memories and everything from that previous person? And would they talk the same? Like, does it all come from your
Well,
brain?
we have to get off
No.
we have to get off of Facebook and talk to each other and be a community. So, like, we still have social skills where we can talk to each other.
Yeah, but I think we'll talk more about this in the second half. But I think technology is ruining the connection between people, and so is the future even going to be more crazy, where
Yeah.
you're totally going to lose like all that like people getting to know each other on a personal level. Is it going to be more? People are in this another, I don't know how you even want to explain it, but just a different level of connection for people.
Yeah, we're
Like,
experiencing that.
Yeah,
this day,
yeah.
for
I
some.
mean, there's still a lot of people who care about talking to people in real life and communicating, and getting to know people. But there's a lot of people who are trapped in video game land.
Oh yeah.
That's all they do all day. And so
Oh,
does the
yeah.
future even get people are even getting more delved into like technology and.
I think they will, but with that technology comes another aspect. It's not just lack of people skills; it's also that lack of direct connection. So, like, I'm on Twitter.
Yep.
I have some people say some pretty nasty things to me
Yep.
because they're not right in front of me,
Exactly.
right.
and
yeah.
so you become an unperson. You deperson people.
Yeah. And
Yep.
you don't have to deal with the consequences of saying it right to their face.
Yes.
You can say it on you don't have the same empathy or whatever when you're talking to someone over the computer, because you're not going to say that to them in person. you know?
Yes. So I have a rule on Twitter. I never tweet anything that I'm not willing to say to them directly.
It's a good rule.
It's a good rule, and I
Yeah.
feel like more people should follow that for sure. We will be going into the second half now, so we'll be right back after this short break. We are back here, and Sherman brought up an interesting point before. Sherman, if you want to bring up, or brought up an interesting point during the break, if you want to bring up what you just said, that the Library of Congress, that fact.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I saw. I don't know if I have the number exactly right, but someone said that all of the books in the Library of Congress could be scanned and put in a memory device of only somewhere around 11 terabytes. And
Really?
we're talking about petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, yottabytes, and bruntabytes, and crazy amounts of information.
And you could buy that now for a couple $100.
Yes.
Like that's
A
what's
terabyte,
Oh,
you
yeah, a
can
Terabyte is cheap.
you could buy like
now.
a 5 terabyte hard drive for like $300 or under $300. I
Yeah.
think it's like $150 for a 3 or a 5 terabyte hard drive.
PlayStations are 1 terabyte too. The newer ones, the pros.
Crazy that you could fit that much information.
So you can put those
Yeah.
movies on there.
Went from
the
200 megabytes
4Ks.
to
Yeah.
for sure.
How much is
Insanity.
to go back, kind of go way back? How much is floppy disk? How much information could that hold?
It's a little
God.
megabyte.
Oh yeah, maybe
Maybe.
2.5 megabytes sometimes.
Crazy.
I haven't seen one
Not
of those
much.
in a long time.
Or
Oregon
one picture.
Trail.
Isn't that one picture
what
on
it
your
was.
camera nowadays?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Not
Yeah.
even some of the
Oh, yeah,
5
some,
megapixel
yeah.
pictures, megapixel.
My first flip phone could hold 20 pictures.
Wow.
Holy! Someone told, or I was reading a thing that there's more technology on the iPhone than there was for the spaceship that went to
Oh
the moon.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
unbelievable.
1916.
That is
Crazy.
a great point because you think about technology and we have these things and no
Yeah.
one really well, I don't want to say doesn't appreciate them, but this right here
Is amazing.
is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you give this to your grandpa in the 40s, 50s,
Yep.
it'd blow your mind.
Yep.
Take it
Absolutely.
back to the future.
Yeah,
there
while we're
with you.
talking Back to the Future, go back. It'd be cool to go back and talk to people. Like, if you could time travel, we could maybe talk about the future of that.
Sure.
If that's a possibility. But if you could go back and just show that to somebody, what they'd think of it. You know, like if you just go back to 1920, hand that to somebody, they would have no idea what to do with it.
Oh, absolutely.
They'd be like, oh, "What?" Like, it'd be.
I suppose there's no internet, so it'd be tough to show. You have to save some videos.
Yeah, the batteries wear out.
Yeah. They would have no idea how to even start with it because there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
camera, there's no internet, there's nothing. So it'd be cool to get their reaction.
It's just a light for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'd be like,
Press the button and the home screen comes on. That's all
Although
it
there
is.
has been
Yeah.
technology advances, I mean, years. I mean, they make
Yes.
those automa. I think they draw
Yeah.
pictures
Yes,
on their
yes,
own. And,
yes.
we talked about a lot of that stuff on the
Yes.
Egypt episode.
did?
Go check that out. We'll put a link in the bio for that. That was a great episode because they did do a lot of crazy stuff. We talked about the first computer ever made, that they found that really old
That's right.
tablet or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of crazy stuff. Don't get me wrong, people have been doing amazing things with technology since the beginning of mankind. So, but right now, when you have the amount of technology in a phone that you did in the spaceship that went to the moon,
It's pretty incredible.
makes me wonder why we haven't gone back to the moon. Conspiracy.
Or have we?
figure out-
Are we going to in the future? I heard they're planning a trip like 2024.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
I was gonna bring that up. I just saw the video. They're going to the moon in 2024. Yeah,
I
or was it
remember that.
2020?
No, that
I think it's
2024.
2024?
27, something like that.
24, I think.
24,
And there was
yeah.
a big hype video for it. That the rocket, they're gonna be. It said we're here to stay.
What kind of music do they play?
It was like it was kind of
techno?
like
Had
no,
to be. Had to
it
be.
was kind of like Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, sure.
You know, kind of like mystical. You know, whatever mysterious music. But it said they're going to be there to stay because there's water on the moon. Apparently, they can extract these frozen bubbles and turn it into water and turn it into fuel for the spaceships. So they're going to
Sweet.
be
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So there's potential that by 2067, if we're going way far out, you could possibly buy a condo on the moon.
Yeah, 2069.
Yeah. Maybe a condo on Mars. Who knows?
Yeah, that's crazy. And we talked about, what episode did we talk about the Mars rover and everything? Was that pretty? That was with Adrian.
Adrian, because he predicted something about Mars finding life on it in the next year. or
Yeah.
two.
In the next year or
He
two.
said
Wow.
he said within the next couple of years, or maybe it was a year, that we're gonna find life on Mars.
I don't think
or
so.
signs of it.
I don't think so either. I think if there was something, that we would have found it by now, because they have all kinds of things up there now, right? They have multiple.
They keep it hidden, I bet.
Yeah.
At least for a while.
Yeah.
I think they die.
Well, that's a conspiracy
what I
too.
think, so.
You know, does the government know things about other planets that we will never know?
I think that they wouldn't say anything like to the public about it unless they knew for a fact that like they knew how to handle whatever it was. Because like I don't think that they would want to put the fear of, hey, there's other life forces out here, but we don't know what they're gonna do. You know? Like,
Well, you think there's like that advanced life forms out there?
no, like I'm not saying
You're
like,
just saying any life form.
Yeah, I'm saying like that might not be how it is now, but I think if they were to ever find it, like in the future at some point, I think that's what their mindset would be.
Yeah.
That's just what I think.
I haven't heard one scientist say basically that if we did find life on Mars, it's because it came from Earth. Maybe a collision, throwing stuff up, floating through space, landing on Mars, and something happens. Maybe a seed or a spore or something like that. Yeah,
You don't think it'd ever be from the beginning? No.
I don't think so.
That I
It's
would.
just an opinion, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what this all is.
Absolutely.
I don't know how people would be able to handle it if we found like another life form out there. You know, how would people react to that?
I think it would just incite panic, like
Yeah,
worldwide
I
panic.
think so.
Really.
We talked about that because of the movies that the people have seen.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, it sets
Independence
them
Day
up.
was
Independence
enough.
Day. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Just go, what was the one where you landed on the asteroid? Oh, I won't call
Oh,
it.
yeah.
topic,
Yeah.
No,
wasn't
that's
an
not on
alien
topic.
one,
I don't. I'm trying to think what movie that is.
I don't know if that's.
Is that Bruce Willis?
Yeah, in an
Armageddon,
Aerosmith song.
isn't it?
Armageddon.
Yeah,
Armageddon,
sounds
yeah,
right.
classic.
Liv Taylor.
Another thing, while you're bringing up books, Sherman, because that was the first thing you mentioned, do you think that eventually books and newspapers are gone?
Unfortunately, I do.
Really?
And when that happens, the opportunity to manipulate, change, rewrite, erase is really high. We do have actual credible, reliable information on ancient sites. There are some facts and statues and other things that people have found, and they were defaced. So like in the Egyptian culture,
Yep.
a ruler that comes after would actually go back and deface some of those statues and erase the names of the other pharaohs so that he'd be forgotten.
Really?
If they were doing that way back in Egypt, I mean, hello. I mean, do you think
Yeah.
there might
Is
be
that like
some
the
elements
Tower-
that do that now?
Jeez.
Is that like the Tower of Babel, or what is that?
That's a different thing because Tower of Babel is in Iraq, and that's still there. It's just not as glorious as it probably was when it was done.
It's really.
Not
It's
the
still
same
there.
con-
Really?
Yeah, it's still there. In
Really?
fact,
The same concept, though?
several, yeah, something like that. Yeah, trying to make a name for themselves, so they get rid of the evidence. Right? Yeah, it's actually there. Some emperors in the past have actually worked on it to restore it to its splendor and never got very far.
Wasn't the Tower of Babel where all the different languages and they spread
Yeah.
out? Is that what the Tower of Babel was?
Every major culture in the world has a mythology about that. The gods get angry and they confuse their languages or some other theory. And of course, the Bible has another version,
Yep.
121 words and very succinct.
So you think that in the future people are going to get rid of, or that the books and newspapers and stuff will be gone, and people are going to manipulate stuff to change the past?
If they can get to that point, yeah.
Huh.
And I sincerely hope that they don't. I don't think they necessarily will be able to, because there's a lot of resistance to erasing all of our history and putting it on a floppy.
Oh yeah. Well, for
This
sure.
is getting to be like Game of Thrones.
Why did she kill so many people?
They-
Well, and I mean,
The Meisters.
you have the Kindle and everything like that, and all the Amazon Fire and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to get rid of books, but it didn't really work. I feel like because they're still here.
Yep.
So what would change in the future that would make them irrelevant?
Well, it always starts off with convenience, then it goes to safety, then it goes to suggestion strong, then it goes to into segments where we're not going to have any books here. It's all going to be technological because this is the wave of the future. Come on, get on board. And then eventually it will be mandatory.
That you won't be able to print.
Yeah,
books
they will
anymore.
be seeking out books to destroy them, and it'll be maybe not Nazi style necessarily, but something on those lines. Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
be for the
You think
benefit of the whole planet.
I would say, do you think it's gonna have to do something with the planet that we
Oh,
can't
absolutely.
keep? Really?
yeah.
And you think newspapers, same thing?
Well, it'll probably be environmentally charged, right? I mean, because they have to use biological matter to make most things, plastics, books, all that stuff to make the books. So.
Yep.
and newspapers with the advertising and how technologies have switched they have to come up with creative ways to, I mean, they're going to have, like the Citizen here in town is a local newspaper, if you're
Yep.
listening.
Yep.
Like they have now a whole web department and try to put stuff online on their website and such, and have the little news articles on there and then try to direct you to the paper. And
Yep.
like you need to have the advertising money to survive, so that has to be balanced while they're looking at
Well,
that. for the way
and you
things
kind
are
of think
done.
of that newspapers, you kind of think of like slowly dying, like people are kind of getting away from that. Do you think that a lot of these, you already see a lot of these small town newspapers closing and stuff like that. Do you think that there's going to be another form of news that people are going to turn to? These small towns are going to have to go to an online newspaper, or I mean, Newsweek already got rid of the magazine like 2 years ago, and they did their last printed paper, but they still do an online magazine.
I think local newspapers are very beneficial.
Oh, for sure.
I'm still old school. I still do like cracking open a newspaper.
Yep.
Well, if it's a weekly one, I don't subscribe to any daily ones. Like make it a free
Do you think it's gonna disappear though in the future?
Yeah,
more than likely.
I think so. And another thing to think about is the fact that right now, especially in America, we're one of the most educated peoples on the planet.
Yep.
Other nations can give us a run too, but the average American reads one book per year.
Really?
That's like a page a day.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, at that rate, what if it goes down? I mean, what if Captain Underpants ends up being one of the top 100 classics? That'd be tragedy.
Yeah,
that would be
tragedy.
perfectly reasonable.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah,
Diary of a
oh
Wimpy
my.
Kid. There you go.
There's some good fine reading right there.
Surreal sitting around all these books talking about books because, like the Kindle came out. I wonder that probably took a hit on them. And you'd start with the entertainment type things.
Yeah.
And, local newspapers. I mean, we always talk about money and how that affects it. I mean, the production costs have to keep rising every year.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's just, it'll have to the cost analysis on something like that will come to a point where is it feasible?
I think that's why if these newspapers want to stay afloat, they need to switch over to modern, even though they might be hesitant to because of traditional means and everything. I think if you want to keep going right now, I think for anything, if you're talking about newspapers, books, anything, going online is the way that things are moving. It's sad to say, but
yeah, for sure. Like, I don't see anything or not anything, but there's so many different things, like even like grocery shopping online and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Like people aren't even just walking up and down the aisles like with their list anymore, you know.
No.
Like your places like Walmart, and then even like a lot of local places.
Yep.
Like even smaller places have started like the process of doing that.
Yep.
And I think that like if you can't even, do like one like the oldest traditional things, go to the store and get groceries. I mean,
Yep.
like how far are you willing to let like technology, like let you or like rule over everything,
Yeah.
Well, you have to have access to that technology too. Like not everybody. Most people have a computer, access to internet and stuff, but that's a whole nother subject too. Like, how do you make internet accessible if that's going to be the all overseeing thing too? I mean, the people in the grocery store, if they're buying those National Enquirers and the thing, they might not be looking those online. I don't know.
Well, and you brought up the grocery store. Have you seen the new Amazon grocery stores?
Yep.
We saw them. I don't know if I brought this up in the podcast before. We saw one in it was St. Louis or Kansas City, downtown, and it's an Amazon grocery store. You have your phone, you have your account pulled up, whatever, and you just walk into the grocery store, grab whatever you want, walk out. It knows what you picked up, and you get charged.
That's the coolest thing.
No line. You don't have to wait for anybody. There's no lines. There's no
checkout. No anything.
No checkout.
It's
that
so
is
advanced.
The future, right?
That is
it
absolutely
a
the
hub
future.
then too? Like, are they throwing drones off the ceiling and flying the groceries out to people? Like that's technology, the drones and stuff?
They are doing that in cities. Yep. They are
that's
delivering.
Like their hub, so they're delivering the foods.
It goes up to like I think it was like 15 miles from the warehouse. Like that, or 10 to 15 miles from the warehouse. It can make deliveries. So like imagine all like those metro areas. Like New York City and LA. Like like how much you can like deliver within 15 miles.
Same day delivery is what it's called now.
So is Amazon prediction? Is Amazon going to be the new post office? They're making like Kohl's. They're going to have trucks running the grocery stores, Kohl's, things. Like they're just going to take over all shipping and
Amazon
less expenses for the government than if they take away like USPS. I mean that would cut out a major thing.
I still think most of the shipping in this world though, or in the United States, is done through the United States Postal Service. I think most of the shipping is handled. I know Amazon is really giving them a run for their money, but
they use the post office for a lot of their stuff.
Yes, they do, under so many pounds or something.
Yeah, but I think in the future, I wouldn't be surprised if they got taken down by another competitor who can do it for cheaper and faster.
You think they're going to get these drones out here, and that's going to start going soon?
That is something that I can't see working just because of people messing with them and stuff. I feel like there's going to be too many accidents. Oh, yeah. People are going to shoot those out of the air. There's going to be I mean, it hasn't happened. I don't think it's happened yet in these big cities, but you get to multiple places around the country, I think you're going to have issues.
Maybe. I see it as just like airline flights. The first airplanes that flew up, they just got in their plane and flew up. There was only like 5 or 7 of them in the whole country in 1910. Then World War I came along. They're using them, throwing bricks at each other, and using handguns and stuff. And then they eventually figured out the path. When they're going from continent to continent, they fly high, and they fly in the jet stream, and the other local ones fly lower. So
Yep.
I think we'll just figure it out like that.
Yeah.
Have little tracking devices in all of them.
And I know New York City has these robots that are like little tanks that drive around and they deliver your packages. And I know I was watching videos on YouTube where people are like kicking them over and they're stuck on their back. And they have cameras on them and they can take pictures of you, but they're going to spend more time tracking down people messing with them than they are.
This leads to even cars right now. Would you jump in a car that doesn't have a driver?
Oh,
Tesla.
that's coming.
Tesla, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know people who have driven the auto driving ones and they're actually pretty dang.
You mean ridden
they're
in them?
Very
They drive
safe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ridden.
Yeah, I
yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. You can push a button on it and they'll just pull right up to you, like it'll move from its parking spot and drive right up to you.
I think
It's
that is so cool.
unbelievable.
Man, I'm kind of old school. I kind of feel like I want control of my.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree with like that is a good thing,
Yeah.
but there's something about. I mean, I guess when you're a plane, you're relying on. So I don't know. I'm not going to wrap my head around that now.
I don't think Tesla's making them right now to where you're supposed to go like I'll type in Mountain Lake and I'm going to drive the car all the way there. I think it's supposed to be more like my parents got a Volkswagen and you could take your hands off the wheel for a little bit and it'll drive for you. Mm-hmm. But if you have your hands off it for more than like 10 seconds, it'll start beeping. You need to get your hands back on the wheel.
You have a chip and it has a magnet that draws it to the steering wheel.
Yeah. But I know Tesla will drive for a while, but I don't think it's meant to be something where you type in an address, fall asleep, and wake up and you're there. I think
almost like
it's going there.
Like a more advanced cruise control, basically.
Exactly.
Like it does speed and then like some steering.
Yeah.
To it, like,
so if you got to grab something or do something quick, you can.
But in these big cities,
not gonna do it through town.
on-demand ones.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, they
They have a
do.
single
Big
middle
cities.
lane that is designated for that.
Yeah, and I know that what's the Tesla guy's name? I'm totally drawing.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is working on this new thing where it's like I don't remember the name of it, but you can get from like city to city super quick. Like the thing goes like 300 miles an hour. I
like
can't
a light
remember.
rail, except
It's kind of
fast.
it's super fast. So I can't remember the name of it, and they're working on it right now. And in the future, you'll be able to get from like a downtown area out to the suburbs in like 5 and 10 minutes instead of waiting in traffic. Like you could just zoom right out there quick. And they're digging these underground tunnels, I know, and they're starting out in California, and they're gonna hopefully get it so you can get from downtown LA out to a suburb or whatever, and you don't have to, because the traffic out there is horrendous. And so they're working on it, but they're running into issues because of the ground shifting so much out there. You dig these tunnels and they're gonna, the thing might crash into something at one point or something. So I don't know, there's a lot of crazy technology coming out, and while we're talking about things changing, do you think money will disappear? Paper money, coins. I could see it all going to credit card or your phone.
Definitively.
Into the chip in your hand. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Your
well, I
credit
think
card's
right
gonna
now
be
it's all going to the phone, like Apple Pay, and I can't even think of some of the other ones on there. You can put your credit card on your phone.
Yep.
You tap your phone on the credit card thing, and it pays. So I could see money disappearing fairly quick, unless there's some reason that you have it.
You have to leave, and then all you need is your phone.
Yeah.
There are a lot of employees that work at the U.S. Mint, and $750 million just to print our money yearly.
Really?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Give or take some change.
Wow.
Get it? So I do think that paper money and coins will be disappearing in under 20 years. So you can come back to me in 20 years and see if I'm right.
First big prediction of the episode.
Right.
Sherman
And I mean,
says-
Just an opinion.
I could definitely see it.
Yeah.
Definitely see it.
I could see
maybe
it
even
too.
sooner than that, to be completely
Maybe.
honest.
Yeah.
It costs more to produce a penny, and a nickel probably
Yes,
even
then
a
it's actually
dime
more.
might be the only one that doesn't cost more than
Yeah, I
it's
saw
worth.
the
Costs more
Because
than a
of one-
penny to produce.
Oh yeah,
a
it costs
penny.
like maybe 3 cents or 2.5
That
cents.
is
like that. I forget
ridiculous.
exactly.
That is
And
ridiculous.
A nickel is even more, I think.
And people don't care about them at all.
Don't quote me on that 7 cents. I know pennies cost more.
We'll have to look it up. Someone check it out. I don't know. I can definitely see that. Just seems like an obvious one. I think anyone would agree. But what are you going to do about all the businesses that don't have credit card readers? They're going to have to get it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know.
all-
I know a lot of people are hesitant too.
They all have those by the time like the money disappears.
Yeah, it'd have to be they
At
make
that-
you do that,
Yeah.
and then
at that point in technology, like you would have to have a credit card reader.
Yeah.
'Cause,
And
I mean, even now it's so few.
I'm thinking about the chaos, like if someone hacked into a system and took all that out, and you didn't. I mean, not that you're carrying around all your cash because you have banks and backups and stuff.
Yep.
But like the day of, like how many times do you stop and try to get gas and the phone lines are down and the credit card machine's not working?
You have to use cash.
You have to use cash. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean
They're really
they'd
gonna
have to
have to-
really have the system
Yep.
par.
That even happens at McDonald's once in a while.
Yeah.
Like you gotta use cash only, you know,
only.
and it's a huge inconvenience, but it happens.
You don't pay for anything at McDonald's, do you?
Huh?
Not this kid.
Hey, sometimes I do. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was looking at another thing. It was parts of the United States that don't have high-speed internet, and then
Yes.
parts of the United States that don't have internet at all.
Yes.
There's actually quite a bit of the United States that doesn't have internet.
In the center mostly. Right?
Yeah. Well, it was in different parts. I know, like Montana and
That was my first guess.
yeah,
Montana.
yeah.
Montana,
There's
Wyoming.
some
Beautiful country.
weird
North Dakota.
parts of the country, kind of up, like north, east, like Pennsylvania around there,
Okay.
in that area, that doesn't have high-speed internet or internet at all. Which
A lot of
is-
Pennsylvania is also like Amish country though.
Oh yeah.
So like
Yeah.
they have no need for it.
Yeah.
So they have to get the
Yeah.
system. Just like when they took away TV antennas and did analog, you know, they'd have to have something in place to alert people for severe weather and
Yep.
stuff like that. But Ethan, we have about 10 minutes left, and we teased how we were going to change the social norm before the break, like how we're going to talk to people, like of Facebook and
yep.
stuff. We should maybe touch on that a bit.
Well, I think that I think what things are going to go to, we could talk about robots too, because I have that on here. I think that's a huge
go
part.
hand
of
in
it.
hand, probably.
Yeah, about how people are. I don't think that the interacting between people is going to change. I think it's going to be how they're doing it. I think that it's going to go to a lot more messaging online. We already do that a ton, but I think it's even going to get more intense. More. There's
Like-
going to be more video chat options.
Like
more,
we'll have avatars here that are robots. And
Yeah.
we'll be
Yeah.
talking and
Yeah,
holographs.
yeah.
Holographs.
I think holographic stuff is going to get huge. I don't think
Yeah.
it's big at all right now, but I think in the future someone's going to come up with something that is going to blow us away. Like literally, Sherman could be in the room with me. Even
Like
though he's
Star
not here.
Wars, like R2D2
Yes.
when he shoots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but I think that there are people working on it, and there is something that's going to come out within the next 50 years. It's probably going to take
closer.
It's going to. I think it's.
2052.
I think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take a while. For that to come out, because that is so advanced, where I think you'll be able to interact with a holographic.
Oh, interact.
Interacting.
Well, I mean, because you can see Tupac in concert with a hologram.
They already
on.
do that, and they do that with two projectors
Okay.
and different things. There's mirrors.
You're
and stuff.
talking about like
I'm talking
I think
like.
doing
travel
that
stuff.
in like daily life, just like walking around like,
Yeah.
with someone.
Yep. Yeah. Like I think in the future you'll be able to bring people with you to do stuff holographically.
plus avatar stuff.
But
Like, almost like-
but like they would be like sitting in a room just doing this with nothing around them or what?
Like let's say you're in the podcast right now, but you're not
Yes.
here. You're at home.
Yes.
But we can still talk to you, see
Yeah,
you.
you're still-
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But
Yeah.
no physically
In fact,
moving
is that
things.
really you?
He can't
can't.
touch stuff, but he can interact with technology. Like he can hear us via headphones, that even though he's not here, he can I don't know, different things like that. I think that's the future, because they're already working on augmented reality where you don't have to wear any goggles or anything.
Oh,
Glasses.
because I was gonna say I saw like Adam Levine and Jonah Hill at a Lakers game on TV once, and they had goggles
yeah.
on and they were watching
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah. But I think
That is cool. I've always wanted to try that.
I think that in the future we're going to get to a point where you don't need
drop.
any goggles or anything. That augmented reality is just going to be a part. Like menus at restaurants are going to be augmented reality, where things are going to be like you can see the burger in front of you even though it's not there, and you can see what it looks like, and it'll be a 3D thing, but it looks so real that you can tell what's on it and everything. It'll be moving around. This is just my prediction.
I mean, I could see it, but like, I think it'd be something more of like an actual like projector or something. Still, like, I don't think you'd be able to just see that with no like effects around. Or,
Oh
like,
no,
with nothing on.
I'm saying that there's going to be something showing it. I'm saying it's not going to be don't have to wear it. It's going to be like a little holographic projector thing, like a menu at a restaurant. You'll be able to open it up,
Yeah, and it'll just
and
be
you'll
there.
you'll see the menu
3D.
items,
And you can
yeah.
and you can like interact with
Interact
stuff
with
like
it,
that.
yeah.
touch on the
Okay.
burger. And
Because I already know they have websites where you can try clothes on. You can go on their site and try clothes on via augmented
Awesome.
reality. So you can
Awesome.
shop online, see what it looks like on you. It's like with your webcam. The clothes will come on and you could turn around and look at it and see what a medium looks like on you or a large.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard about
Yeah,
something like that.
it's there are websites doing it. It's more, it's not every website,
And
but
then
I
you
think
say, "I'll take that burger," and you close your eyes and you shoot the paste in your mouth, and then you eat it.
it's
That's what I was thinking. At what point do we just stop having actual food?
Yeah.
Nah,
Well,
it's too
it's
good.
like Back to the Future 2 or whatever. They open up the little pizza and they put it in the the rehydrator,
Yes.
and the pizza comes out like
Yeah.
a big thing.
Or like
you know?
in Spy Kids too.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen
Wow,
that?
you
In Spy
pull
Kids?
back to Spy Kids too.
Well,
Star Trek.
the first one, like Spy Kids also.
Yeah.
No, but like they have like that box, like
Yep.
that put it in the microwave, or I guess not a microwave, but like put it in the machine, hit the button, 5 seconds later.
Isn't it a full meal?
They have McDonald's. It's just McDonald's
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah,
branded and everything.
yeah.
Well,
That's funny.
I hope people are still going to restaurants and sitting down together and talking, and even if they're looking at their hologram.
Yep.
As going to a restaurant and eating, and even with people you don't know, it's such a good way to bond. Like
Yes.
people always like to bond over food, and
Yep.
different cultures even too. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
I think drive-through is so much more common now, though.
Yep.
Like, because I mean, how many times are you like with your friends? It's 2 or 3 of you, and it's just like, well, we'll just go to like run to McDonald's quick, or,
Yep.
or any other fast
Or
food.
delivery.
Yep.
Does
Yeah.
McDonald's deliver in town?
No,
Not-
but they will
not here.
soon. Well, they are in Mankato right now. They're doing delivery.
Is it like Uber Eats or is it,
Yeah,
or is it like
Uber
directly
Eats.
through McDonald's?
Uber Eats works with McDonald's to do
Okay.
it.
Are there cameras in those little pull-ups on those signs where you place your order online? There's like a little phone on there that looks like a little dot
We're for.
for like when you place your order on
On the
pickup.
app?
Yeah, on the app
Uh-huh.
for the app.
I don't think there's
No,
cameras.
I
no.
just looked over. It looked like
yeah.
there's a little camera
No,
that
I
you
don't.
could see inside the.
I'm not familiar with that. No. But while I was bringing it up, Back to the Future. This is the Sports Almanac from Back to the Future 2. For people wondering, I brought it because we had it from a previous film we made. But Back to the Future 2 made a lot of predictions about what life would be like in 2015, and they got a lot of stuff wrong because we were supposed to have flying cars, hoverboards.
Hoverboard.
Yeah, there was a lot of funny things that people were, but we did get self-lacing shoes. That was one thing that did come out before. That came out in 2015.
Well, because the Jetsons came out in like the 50s, right?
Yep.
And wasn't that based on like the early 2000s, or is that based on 2050?
I don't remember when the
but I was
Jetsons
thinking
was
about the
based
Jetsons,
on.
I don't know. George Jensen. Let's see.
It's based on the
Could
well,
be.
like I know for a fact that it's based on not too far from where we are, either behind us or in front of us.
Yeah.
and it's crazy because I mean, just think of the Jetsons. You
Didn't
know?
get anything
they're,
right
They're
either.
flying around through space.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and
I mean, it's possible by 2050, I guess, but it'd be
Oh, yeah.
a reach.
Yeah.
Everything
Stretch.
multiplies by as technology goes. Everything goes
Yes.
faster, 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 faster.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well, and what do you think about automation? Because we haven't talked about that at all. Jobs being lost because of robots.
Well, sorry to interrupt.
no,
you,
that's
but
what I was gonna say.
I was
Like,
gonna lose the thought, but and like, I had no idea that these existed. But when I was in Grand Forks a few weeks ago, I went to a subway drive-through, and like there wasn't even somebody like at the drive-through. Like you pull up to it,
Touchpad.
and it's a touch screen at the
Really?
drive-through. Yep, you don't talk to anybody. You just
huh?
put in your order, and then you pull up, give them your card, and then they give you your food. So
Wow.
like you pull up and you don't even talk to somebody, and
Wow.
that. I mean, like I don't know if that's been around for a while or what, but it blew my mind when I
Yeah.
pulled up there.
Oh yeah.
I sat there for a second, I'm like, hello, and then I see this right in front of me, I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I was just watching a video. It was a tour of the Tesla factory. While we're
Okay.
talking about Tesla before, there's one part of the factory where 90% of it is automated. There's no humans besides a couple running a couple things, but otherwise a robot passes it here. If you think 50 years ago, a car factory was probably 90% humans doing the work. So what a huge change. Tesla's obviously the future, but
Oh, absolutely.
you know, but I think that's the direction that car companies and people are going to be headed to save the most money. Is they're going to go with a machine instead of a human,
Sure.
more accurate, and they can do the same job again and again and again, not get tired, not need a break, just keep doing it and doing it. So do you think that automation is going to end up killing off a huge amount of jobs where we're going to need to create new jobs for those people?
Definitively, yeah. As new technology comes, there are always new ideas. The only problem I would see is if somehow the government got too involved and they basically turned it into a we're in control deal, then people could actually get an income for doing nothing and just having the automation take over. But I think automation is not a problem.
No, you don't think so?
I think that it will phase out certain businesses. We don't have any companies making barrels anymore. You know, like putting them together, those hoop barrels,
Oh.
and putting on the rings and stuff like that. They don't really do that much anymore.
No.
Maybe for some old time stuff, but
We got to rely on the
but
jobs
we got
we
some
don't
new
even know
stuff.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
stuff
got
don't
plastic
even know about.
barrels.
Yeah.
Plastic barrels now. So
Yeah, there's what do you mean by jobs we don't even know about? Things
Well,
that
like
are going to come up in the
stuff
future?
yeah. Or as Ocasio-Cortez says, they'll come up with creations that haven't ever been created before.
Creations that have been created
Yeah,
before?
I mean, that was pretty brilliant.
That a big phrase right there. I don't know. What kind of creations are going to be created, Sherman? Flying cars?
Yep, definitely.
You think so?
I don't think that most of the cars will be flying up in the sky very high.
You don't think they're
I
going to touch the ground, though?
I do not think that they will need to touch the ground, and that will help with lots of issues like friction that wears out parts,
And
wears
the
out
roads.
the body and the roads.
No more potholes?
Yep, we won't have to worry about the condition of the road so much.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
You think that's something that we'd see within our lifetime?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I meant
How are you gonna live
it'll take a
even?
while to drive
Huh?
the cost down.
How
But
long are we going to live? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. If we're talking about artificial hearts,
Oh.
we might be alive for 300 years.
2067, I could still be here.
Yeah. I just didn't know if it'd be feasible for people flying, because it's like an airplane then, wouldn't it be? I don't know how high you were talking about going, but...
Oh, it's like 5-10 feet.
Oh, okay. Just so they wouldn't be touching the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's not going to have one of these cars. It can be done. They'll be doing it.
Yes.
But it'll be
It's
like,
gonna be
start
extremely
there.
expensive.
Like Jason said with the 5 planes that started.
Yep. Well, it'll kind of be like when computers came out, how expensive they were
Yeah.
and how big they were, and then I think it'll get smaller and more to the size of a normal car.
Yes.
I
in
think it'd
the
be
future.
tough though because like if only so many people can afford them. Like, so does that mean people are gonna be driving with rich people flying over them? Like, I mean, like,
Wavy.
They're waving down on
The
you.
higher they are, the richer they are.
Yeah. I mean,
There's Bill Gates.
I fly so I can look down on you.
I think it'll be both. Like, I think people are gonna be driving still, but I feel like in the way future that most people are gonna be flying, and then you won't even need roads anymore. That you could just fly to places like.
Oh, that's a big prediction. What year is that?
2089.
2089. All right.
Can you imagine what the Earth is going to look like in 3000? I mean, we're in 2000.
Well, we never even touched on. We hope to God we're all here.
Yeah.
And like nothing
Well,
happens. War is a real thing.
Can't
and
predict that. We can't
no,
really predict that. But
Jason said weapons of mass destruction. That's
Messence
a
of
real thing.
WAP destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, and you can't predict that. That's such a
That's a whole
war
nother
and
podcast.
everything. That's a whole nother podcast. Yeah. But we can only make predictions about technology, and hopefully that it is a positive change. You know, there's a lot of negative stuff that can come with it, but you got to look at the positives of
Here's a positive right here. LiDAR. Light detection and ranging. They looked down in Guatemala recently with one of these machines from space, and they mapped the thing. They found thousands of structures they never knew
in the rainforest, right?
in the rainforest.
I watched
they found
that.
a seven-story pyramid
Yep.
temple just recently.
I watched
they
that.
didn't
Was
know.
it a History Channel I was watching some kind of documentary on
yeah.
it. They found like giant cities in the rainforest, like these megapolises or whatever they call them, like millions of people used to live in.
Yeah, 10
They
to
have
15
no
million
idea.
people.
Yeah, and how it works is they shoot this laser down through the tree cover, because that's the reason they can't see anything is the tree cover, and it maps like the ground, and they can get these 3D images of the whole rainforest beneath the trees. So they were finding like temples, highway systems that they had developed, and all this stuff is just there, and people had no idea about it.
Yeah.
Kind of have to go out like Indiana Jones in the rainforest and see what you can find.
And
PG-13.
one of these archaeologists, he was down excavating in this area where they did this LiDAR stuff.
Yep.
And he found out about a big wall that was not even 200 feet from where he was digging. He never knew it was there.
Really? Are
And
they're
so-
flying planes over, right? Is that
Yeah,
what they're doing?
planes, and
Yeah.
I think they use some way they interface with the satellites and stuff.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that's just for the relaying of information or not.
Yeah.
Use that to save lives too, and collapses and
Yeah.
earthquakes and such.
Yeah.
and-
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They can. Yeah. Lots of applications. Positive. Right?
Yeah, yep. And I think while we're talking about that, the future, we're going to find out a lot about the past, because the
Oh, yeah.
technology is evolving and changing, and we can.
It's a great point. You have to look back to the past. You can learn a lot about the future.
Oh, yeah. I think, and they can do more stuff to discover like parts of the ocean that we've never seen before. Like I know there's parts of the ocean that no human has ever been to, because I know it's super deep.
Yeah.
You can't
Pressure-
even go
pressure,
down
yeah.
there. I think in the future we'll be able to find new creatures and stuff
Oh,
that
yeah.
we never
Aquatic.
knew about.
Throwing out all these movies. Life of Aquatic's a great
yeah,
movie.
Yeah, there we go. So there's a lot of things where we've been talking about it. Sherman, I don't know if you had any other technologies that you've think that will come about in the future or that have been happening.
Well, there's some that have been happening, but I think it's going to carry it much further. Not just the Mars thing, the Moon thing. Find out if the Moon's hollow or not, right? But Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus and Uranus. And
What are you saying about my?
nothing at all.
Yeah.
Nope. You can just button.
Is Mars the farthest we've gone? Just to get off topic.
As far as a probe, no. We've gotten probes to go twice the distance that Pluto is,
Oh, really?
which I still think is a planet. Yeah, they're actually way out there. They're like
Yeah.
8 or 9 billion miles away.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Viking, I think, is one of them.
And they can send information that far back. That's the
Yeah,
craziest
it takes
part.
days to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were to
17 days or
send a command to it, it would take days to get to it?
so. Yes, for the farthest
Wow.
one out there.
That is
The billions of
unbelievable, though.
miles,
They can even reach that
Yes.
with the signal.
Yes.
Wow. Well, do you guys have any other predictions about the future, technology, anything, Adam?
I think we.
No, the only future thing that I can think of is that the Warriors are going to sweep the Bucks in the NBA Finals.
They better not.
How's Zion gonna do down in New Orleans?
Zion's going to bust, I'm telling you.
That's his prediction for the future.
Prediction, Sherman. Any predictions? Well, you already had a couple here. 20 years,
Yeah.
you said. What was the prediction? 20 years.
Oh, no more cash.
No more cash.
No
I
more
could agree with that
coins,
one. I
yeah.
think it'll even. I think
be
20
gone.
years is a good prediction. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else that you would predict for the future?
I predict that the population of the Earth will be at least 14 billion, unless we have some type of communist takeover that wipes out a bunch of people.
Really? You think it'll
At
get to
least.
that level?
And there's no problem. You can fit everyone on the planet in the state of Rhode Island, no problem. With
Really?
room to move, yeah.
Rhode Island?
Rhode Island, yeah. Every single person on planet Earth.
No way.
Yeah.
Really? I've heard numbers where you can fit everyone in like Texas and stuff. I've never heard Rhode
yeah.
Island before.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. They don't have a lot of space.
No. No. But,
Like going to the bathroom might be a problem.
Yeah. You're saying everyone like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, well, not even shoulder to shoulder, but, just stretching out your arms. Yeah.
Maybe it was Texas where everyone could have their own house. And,
Maybe.
Yeah.
That makes
something
sense.
Like that.
Yeah.
Huh. I never even thought 14 billion people. Wow.
Yeah, at least.
So you don't think overpopulation is a thing?
No, I think it's a big lie just to get some little idea through so they can get a program going.
That's what I was thinking too. I think we brought this up on a previous podcast about how I thought overpopulation was a hoax too, because I was watching something about, like I said, how you could fit everyone in Texas or you could fit everyone here. There's all this unused land in Russia. There's all this unused land in the United States that we don't use, so a lot of room. And if people say, well, it's all rocky, it's all this, we've done some amazing architectural
Yes.
stuff where you can change the landscape pretty good,
Yes.
to of places. So I feel like in the future, people are going to adjust to where they're at, and we can fit more people. So I'd have to
Absolutely.
agree with that one. Yeah,
You'll
for
be
sure.
forced to talk to people then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on top of
If you
them.
don't have enough room to stand, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's for sure. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you have any predictions or anything that you think of that you think will happen in the future, you can comment that or let us know. We'll bring it up next episode and see what we think about it. Because it's always good to hear what you guys have to say. And I don't know if there's anything else really to add to that. I think we touched on everything I wanted to touch on, all the stuff. It all started with microchipping, and we got pretty far.
Yeah.
Got pretty far from that. So, and leave a comment on that. Would you ever be microchipped for your work? If your job came to you and said you have to be microchipped or you're fired?
Or your safety.
Yeah. Or your
Yes.
safety. Yeah, or your kid's safety. Because like Damon said earlier, they've been doing it to dogs. So would you ever do it to your kid? I don't know if Damon's promoting anything, but
No, not at all.
yeah.
No,
I'm just
not.
saying, yeah.
Don't-
yeah.
no.
So thanks
Your dad
everyone.
might want one on you. But
Yeah, he might. He might. For everyone watching, make sure you share, comment, retweet, subscribe, get the podcast out there. Leave us a good review if you enjoyed the show. Sherman, thank you very much for coming on. Always a
welcome.
pleasure to have you.
Welcome.
Damon and Adam, thank you guys very much. It's been awesome to have you guys on and provided some good insight, I think, as well. We got a lot done. So we'll be back next week. Not sure who we're going to talk to, as usual, but I'm hoping it'll be someone interesting. So thank you very much for watching.
I predict that in the future. It'll be
Yeah, you're
interesting.
going to predict that. All right, thank you, Damon. For everyone watching, this is the Clerc Podcast Show. We'll see you next week.